I think it's good
So
now.
we are here today with Moira Ramone from Rotterdam. We are really happy to have you. And
Yeah, thank you for having me.
from Exvoto.
Yeah.
It's your shop, right?
Yeah.
You're the owner.
Yeah, I just opened it in August. So
Okay.
very first time that this is my own studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, very happy to have it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Your little piece of peace, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, so I would like to ask you if you could a little bit introduce yourself to our people and to tell us something about yourself and about your background in tattooing, and if you want, also about the beginning.
Yeah. So I am born and raised in the Netherlands, and I just turned 30 2 days ago.
Oh.
And I started tattooing 10 years ago already. So I was 20 years old when I really started tattooing. But I knew that I wanted to tattoo ever since I was, I think, 13 years old. Because I was busy like drawing and making art and doing all that kind of stuff. And but you know, like when you're 9 or 8 years old, you don't think like, oh, I'm gonna tattoo. Well, maybe now, but back then, definitely not.
No.
So first I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna draw like children's books or something like this.
Cool.
But then I got into punk rock music, and then I saw all my idols having like a lot of tattoos, and I thought that this is what I'm gonna do. So straight out of high school, I went to work in tattoo shops. I built up my portfolio. I'm now saying it very fast, but it took a really long time. So I went to a couple shops, took my portfolio. I made a little line drawings or paintings, or basically anything that I ever made, and got a lot of no's. This was like 12 years ago. And then this one shop in Rotterdam as well, they said that they were looking for an apprentice. And now when I hear somebody saying this, I think like, oh, that's weird. Why would you look for an apprentice? But like, you know, 17-year-old me was like, well, that's what I want to do. So I went there, and it ended up being very shady. The people were not going to teach me anything. So I worked there for a year because I thought, well, you know, like even though they treat me like shit, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And it was a hard year, but then I realized that they're not really going to do anything for me, or, you know, like teach me to tattoo at all. So I left there. And yeah, I noticed in the videos of the other interviews that you did as well, that a lot of people have the same experience. Like, oh, you know, I started somewhere, but these people are really shady, or just really horrible people in general. And I don't know, I think it's just, you know, when you give somebody that kind of power, especially to like, if you're looking for an apprentice, I feel like it's just, you're looking for something maybe different, and you put people in power, and especially men, they will take advantage of it, I feel, and that's exactly what they did. And I feel like a lot of people do that under the whole, you know, like masquerade of being an apprentice. So I left over there, and then fast forward, I went to 25 to Life Tattoos, where I eventually got my apprenticeship. It took me, I think, 7 months before I could even really work there, because he told me to keep coming back with new drawings, new paintings. Every month I came back, showed me completely new portfolio. And then I think after like seven months, he told me that I could work there for I think like maybe 1 day a week starting, and then it kind of like evolved from there. And then I could tattoo after I think maybe a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really
so that's like the story of 2 years of like and failing a lot of times, in a nutshell.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I liked also the comment that you said about the fact that they didn't want to show you anything. I mean, it's kind of like, no, that's mine.
No.
I cannot
Like, only
really.
if I ever did this, and this right, then I could look at a tattooer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And from when you started to create your style, so you started with something traditional, because I can see that you usually do something with a traditional base, but more like a medieval stuff, and with a few colors, but really powerful.
Yeah,
yes,
thanks.
yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually something from, I think, 1 or 2 years that I really started doing this like medieval kind of things. I really like just old stuff in general. Like, it doesn't really even matter when. But like I get inspired by medieval stuff or Gothic stuff, and I like like things that you can find back in churches, religious imagery. But that's something that I maybe started like 2-3 years ago. But I always like wanted to do traditional tattooing, and I think I just keep on. I like to think that I keep on evolving and changing. But this is something that really interests me right now. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So this is only a transition in some way.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe in 2 years I'm like,
yeah, I know.
I'll find something else to focus on. Or
I really know what you mean, honestly.
Yes, and talking about also the painting and drawings. I mean, do you feel that you evolve more your style, being just, I mean, basically working on custom designs, or what you're going to do every time for tattooing, or is something that you spend some time also on drawing and painting at home when you are just like a relaxing thing?
Yeah. So the way I like to paint is not the way I like to tattoo. I like to paint very classic imagery. It's almost like realistic, or like coming straight out of a history book. So I feel like it's different, but I like to take that imagery and put like a traditional spin on it. But I also really like to paint something that I don't do every single day in my work. Because even though I do really love my work and I love making pictures and drawing whatever, it does become like kind of like a routine that you do every day. So just to kind of like change it up, I like to do just like something completely different in my painting or for fun. But I still feel like it overlaps a lot of times. Of course, it depends on what the customer asks for. Like if they ask for something religious or medieval, of course I can take a lot of inspiration out of my own paintings, or just different kind of symbolism. Or sometimes I take them out of the book that I made together with Jan Willem. A book on cemetery symbolism, which is mainly inspired on religious symbolism. So sometimes I just flip to there and just kind of. So yeah, I forgot what the question was, but I'm just like, anyway. But yeah, like it just kind of comes together in the end, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for many people, it's mostly for many tattooers, tattoo is the center of the life. So sometimes it's also nice to just do something only for yourself. Yeah. Like be a little bit more distant.
Absolutely.
In a way, right? Because
I also feel that once you capitalize on something, it doesn't really become joyful anymore. I mean, still joyful, but not as natural as it would used to go if you just do something for yourself. for example, when it was like the lockdown during Corona times, started making candles, which was really fun. Like with my own design and everything.
Sure.
But then at some point, like so many orders came in, and I really was like, oh shit, I need to go home and make all these candles. And I figured that once I started selling them and it became more popular, I started losing interest in it as well. So you're kind of like ruining your hobbies by selling it. So I really need to I still struggle with that. I need to let go of capitalizing on everything that I make, selling everything I make, even though it started for something for fun. I kind of like catch myself on always trying to make money off it, even though I don't need to. It's just a fun project.
I don't know. I totally understand your point of view. I always, since I was really a child, I was like, I don't know, should I try to transform my passions in my job? Because it's always like my job will ruin my passion, or would be great because I can do what I like. It's always, there's always a balance about that, and it's not really. I don't know.
Absolutely.
There's
like these quotes that are kind of like, if you, I don't know how it goes exactly, but something like, if you do what you like, then you will never work a day in your life, or something like this. I don't feel that way. Maybe other people do, and that's totally fine. But I feel like as soon as you start working on and capitalizing on what you really like doing, it just becomes a job.
I felt the same way when I started doing like Japanese masks. At the beginning was really interesting. So it's still interesting for me. But when you do the first one, it's really interesting. Second, maybe 10, you do it with the same let's say.
I don't know.
So passion.
Anyway.
Passion.
Yeah.
After a while, so I say it's really cool and it's still cool, but sometimes I would like to just change the subjects, because I don't want to be like in a while upset about doing the same thing. So I really understand.
And also like you started thinking of what would sell best. So then you're like, this one mask in your case that I made, was very popular. So you're gonna accustom to them instead of to yourself. Which can be like tricky for things that you really like to do or things that you love to make. So
I mean, consider that also we feel it a lot also because apart from tattooing, we have tattoo supply and we have tails. So it's kind of everything centered in tattooing, and it's so nice. But sometimes, it's overwhelming.
I usually just fell asleep talking about tattoos. Almost everything.
No, especially if you're both in that field. And all of it will be, surrounded by it. And I'm also very happy to not have a partner who tattoos, so I can talk about other things as well.
And another question. So I never work in Netherlands, honestly, and I don't know how does it work with the style, like with your style and the traditional tattoos in Rotterdam or in Netherlands in general.
I mean, for me it works good. But I do see, but I think that this is a problem, or like a thing that's happening all over, is that right now it's really changing, and there's so many tattooers, so there's so much less work for everyone, I would say. So even great tattooers, they have not as much work as maybe what they used to. Also because the styles, it's not just traditional anymore. It's like inside traditional, you have so many different other little styles, which is super great. But that also means that the customer can be really specific about what they want. And it's not just, I love traditional tattoos. It's like, but I love this very specific style within something. It's like almost opening a box every time a new thing comes up, which is great, and I think it's really nice. And I think for traditional tattooing, the bigger cities in the Netherlands are great. The smaller ones, I think they like different things. But I feel like that's maybe the same in most countries. Yeah.
Yeah, and just in your case for sure. But people mostly ask you to some custom tattoos, or they just choose from your sketchbook, or?
I don't have a sketchbook.
Okay.
So I don't have any flash. I have nothing. So you can just come with your own idea. I do have like a reference album with like a lot of designs in it that are either like wood paintings that I would like to traditionalify, if that's the word, to my own style. But I mean, I don't really have the time to make like a proper book, even though I'm always very jealous when I see other people have it, and I'm like, you know, I feel like I didn't show up with my homework in class or something. So yeah, so it's all custom, to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also happy that I get to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, if you can do something at the moment, so and make people happy,
of course.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Also because it's a constant growth,
Yeah,
right? So
it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes people ask you things that you would never thought of making yourself, and I feel like it's very challenging also to try and make the best tattoo you can out of something that you thought maybe initially didn't really work. But if you can try to make it work as good as possible, it's not only, you know, like you don't only give your advice to the customer, but I feel like the customer often challenges the tattooer as well in coming up with different subjects that I would have never thought of.
Of course, yeah, that's amazing. And I would like to ask a question that we quite care about. It's related to the tattoo machines, tattoo tools that you usually prefer, and if you have, you know, something that you really like having on your workstation.
Yeah. So when you asked me to partake of this podcast, I was like, oh, but I don't think I can join because I don't work with coils anymore. I used to, but I think 2 years ago I started using a pen, and I think it's just really great. And it doesn't look very cool, but it makes my life a lot easier. And I really like working with it. It's so light, and I mean, at first I just bought one from a very cheap one from AliExpress, and I think I worked with it for like a year. And I was like, okay, maybe I, need to upgrade to something proper.
Sure.
So I bought a serious one, a grown-up one. And I worked with that, and works great for me.
Okay.
And besides that, I really like this. I don't know. I feel always so lazy when I use it, but it's like this little machine, and you can stir your ink with it. So all my customers are also always like, well, is it like a little it's like a little stir machine? I'm like, yeah.
All in one.
Yeah, it's like, it's super lazy, but I love it. You can be like me. So I really like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you also did a lot with coil machines at the beginning, so you were already very expert when you choose to switch, right? So it's.
I don't know if I was very expert. I don't know. I always kind of like. I always felt like I was cheating and everything. I still feel like I never really know what I'm doing, but I'm just winging it, sort of. And that's how I felt from the beginning. That's how I still feel 10 years later. But I did work with coils for, I would say like for the lines at least 6 years. Then I started doing shading at some point with like a Checkville rotary.
Yeah.
And now ever since I started using the pen, I didn't really touch them anymore.
No, but it's. We really care about also, talking about the feeling of every tattooer, because everyone has his own, feeling preferences. Some people just need to change, not because, for example, they need because of an accident to the hand or some too much stress or whatever. I mean, everyone has a different path, and it's very important also to us to share everyone's situation. So it's very cool. No worries at all.
No, I'm not ashamed about it. I'm just like, I guess. But... And do you feel like a lot of people switch, like the ones that you speak to, switch to something different, or?
I mean, we have both people remaining at least for the lines. Many people
with the coils.
For the coils, and maybe having some rotary or something.
But depends, because someone just told us maybe if they have to do like a full back. For the lines, they prefer something better, like an hybrid machine.
Right. Yeah.
Something else, just to be like just to be faster. Because if you have like a lot of customers, you have a lot of work to do it. You don't have all the time, so you cannot stay like really relaxed and doing the lines with all the time that you would like to have.
Yeah.
Sometimes I mean there are also some extremes in a way, because there are some shops that honestly don't want the noise anymore, so they kind of force people to switch. So it's something that I mean that there are so many situations, but it's I think that as soon as if it is a choice of the tattooer, it's totally perfect. I mean, it's something that everyone needs to feel well while tattooing, while working, because it's a job, and you have to stay there for hours.
Also
and
with a nail if you want. So for me, it's the same. So.
It can be whatever. So it's. But there are so many experiences, and it's everyone is worth. Yes, totally. So thanks for sharing.
Of course.
And I would like to ask you. So I just tell you at the beginning, it is a kind of stupid question, but I will tell you why.
Okay.
Do you have some particular subject that you prefer to tattoo?
Maybe I love doing portraits.
Okay.
And I love doing like anything goth, religious, like I mentioned before. But I also like doing pop culture kind of things. Things from movies, especially horror movies. I really like, or just doing gory stuff. Or like devils, or basically everything that's a little bit dark or horror inspired. That's what I like to do. But it's just so broad of many things. And I also love lady faces.
This is
why it's almost everybody's favorite subject, but fine.
This is why I just say, maybe it seems a stupid question, because I don't know, just for me, skulls, I prefer to tattoo skulls. If I had the possibility, I tattoo skulls every day.
Only skulls, guys.
Honestly.
I mean, I don't. I'm gonna scare away customers, but I don't really like my own skulls. Sometimes I look at other people, their skulls, and I'm like, oh, these skulls are good, and I look at mine, I'm like, So that's why I'm like, I don't know. Like, I love skulls, but my skulls in particular, I'm like, could be better maybe.
But I also know there is like some period that we prefer to tattoo something. I remember years ago, I just would like to tattoo tigers. Tigers had everything. So I don't know, it was like this, because when I started doing like freehand, for me it was something like mind-blowing. Okay, I would like to do this all my life.
Once you like kind of get the hang of it, then I can definitely understand, like, whoa, I could do such a cool tiger like this. And then
right.
Only.
I still have some post-its that you were designing when we were at the sushi restaurant a few years ago.
Years ago, I just
you were making tigers? Nice.
Yes, I have it in my pocket.
So that's nice.
Yes. And is there a particular moment of the tattooing that you prefer, that you really not prefer, but enjoy particularly, like
clients,
whatever. Yes,
okay.
whatever.
Okay.
Customer. I mean, whatever. It's of the process, the old process.
I always like doing the shading more. I think lining is something like, you know, I've done it already.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it again. So I'm just like, okay, you know. But I love doing the shading because then you kind of see your image coming to life, and it gets more depth, and yeah, it just looks more like a tattoo and not just, you know, something that you kind of slap on. So that's what I really like, also because customers are like, oh wow, now I really can see what, you know, it's gonna be like. And I also like, of course, making people happy.
Yeah.
So that's always a moment that I really enjoy doing. And of course, when we're done and they love their tattoo, which I hope is always the case, that's also a really nice moment. But yeah, you know, it's a process. I cannot really pick something out. It's just kind of like the whole thing.
Yeah, totally. And do you? I mean, can you comment a little bit about your relationship with social media? If you spend, I don't know, a lot of time, if you like spending a lot of time, or if you don't really care, or you use it like a tool simply.
Yeah, mostly. I don't scroll a lot on, like, I also have like 4 Instagram pages. I have one for my shop, and then I have one, like this one, and then I have like just one for friends that I post like silly pictures on. And then I have one for like when I was selling my candles as well. That one is kind of dead. I don't really use it anymore. But then I don't really scroll a lot, and I spend actually most of my time on the one where I just see my friends. Also because I don't like, when I come home from a long day of work, I don't like to work more and then look at other people, their tattoos, and think like, oh, these are so amazing, and then spend, I don't know, so much time on comparing myself to other people as well. Yeah, so I try to kind of shield myself off, and of course I want to get better, and that's always my aim, but I don't want to scroll all the time and just think like, oh, okay, well, but this person has like 5,000 likes, or I feel like you always sort of kind of get sucked into that whenever you're scrolling a lot on social media, if you don't really want to. So I always kind of like switch over to my other page and then where my friends are and be like, hey, it's my little safe place.
Oh, yeah, that's
but
true.
Then, yeah, of course, it's a very efficient tool for like my customers to see what I'm doing, or to get to know my work, and of course make an appointment.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. So you can show your work basically. Yeah.
It's like a CV nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I would have a whole lot of appointment if it wasn't for Instagram. Besides this one guy who made like a blog post. I don't know. I think it was his personal blog or something. It was years ago, and it was just his personal opinion on who are the best tattooers, traditional-wise, in the Netherlands. And then I think he mentioned me and Kim Ann and Joris, who are all in the Netherlands, which is really nice. But people took it really seriously. I thought it was like some sort of competition that I won or something, even though it was just this guy's personal opinion. But if you look for traditional tattooer in the Netherlands, that is the first thing that comes up.
Nice.
So besides Instagram, that is a point where I get a lot of people from. Thank you, person who did this. But otherwise, I think I would have a lot less.
But for sure, seeing your name from some other tattoo that you like too. It's amazing, I think. Yeah.
It's very nice. Yes.
And now the best question.
Okay. I hope so.
What? Sometimes that's mine all the time. What does tattoo means to you now?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sure.
It?
What does tattoo means to you now nowadays?
Like getting tattooed or like
tattoo or
anything?
tattooing in general? Yes.
Okay. What is it? That's such a hard question.
Yeah, it is.
Prepared
Yes,
for this.
about
I
that.
think of like what I was gonna say. I of course it's like it's what I do every day. So it's a really big part of my life, and I always love to. I feel like okay. While I'm talking, I'm trying to think of what
No,
it is
sure.
I'm trying to say. But I
Right.
think what it means to me now is like growing and evolving and being able to like explore my own art every day, which I think is really nice. Like, of course, if I would work another job, then I would have less time to perfect or improve in the way you draw or the way that you look at art. And
Yeah.
that's also something that really changed, like, within me and within tattooing for me as well. So yeah, I think summed up in one word, even though it sounds a little bit cringy, growing, I would say, means
Yeah.
a lot to that. Yeah.
No, but it's a lovely answer actually. It's very
I feel
nice.
like it could be like, you know, in a framed on the wall.
Yeah.
Like your live, laugh, love poster. There's this quote.
And do you have any, I don't know, I would like to just conclude a little bit with if you have any particular plans for the future. I mean, I think you travel, if I'm not wrong, with some guest spot or something like that. So do you have any future plans? I mean, you already talked about also about your tattoo shop. So it's amazing that you already started. And so it's, yes, what are your immediate or very future plans, whatever?
Yeah. So in May, I'm going to work in Berlin. A friend of mine, she moved there from the Netherlands to Berlin. So I'm gonna not only visit her, but work in my German is not very great, so I'm like Ernstwein tattooing with a bunch of really great tattooers. Just for like 2 days or something. And then in August, I'm going to tattoo overseas, or for the first time in a convention overseas. So I'm gonna participate in the Montreal tattoo convention.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't posted anything about it yet, which I probably should. So I'm gonna do that. I'm joining Ludo, and we're all gonna go like have a booth together over there. So I'm super excited. I also have never been to Canada before. So this should be cool. And furthermore, I just hope to improve with my shop and have guest artists over and just kind of involve within that as well.
Sure.
Wow. Thanks.
That's really
Well,
cool.
thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
it was really lovely, and thanks for participating in our project.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And I would like to ask you if you could remain on Zoom so we can say bye to each other.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
In the meantime, I would like to thank everyone that was present here, and I would like also to advertise that tomorrow we have another podcast. So
You should listen. Who is it again? Is it
sorry?
Saida?
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Cool.
So
Fun.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
So
Bye.
thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.